down in tears. These are the most emotional moments in Formula One. First is one of those moments that just gave us all goosebumps. The 2019 Belgian GP was horrific.
What would be a good race in your book today? At least back to the top 8 and if we can, maybe more. Some reverse grid magic maybe to come on Sunday. Good luck, Antoine Hubert.
In just the second lap on Saturday's F2 race, with Nyck de Vries leading, Giuliano Alessi, who was in 10th, crashed into the barriers going through Eau Rouge.
What is a more interesting? Oh, there's a big crash there. There's a car who lost it. Car has lost it on the way in. Oh no. Oh, that's a horrible accident. That is a horrible accident involving the Sauber Junior team.
In such a fast section, and with the cars so close together, disaster was inevitable. With such a bad crash and so many cars involved, the medics showed up right away. French driver Antoine Hubert and Ecuadorian Juan Manuel Correa, whose cars were severely damaged, were taken out and rushed to the Circus Medical Center. While doctors stabilized Correa, who suffered a spinal injury and fractured legs, Hubert was fighting with everything he had. But just over an hour later, I couldn't believe it. We were devastated. At 6:35 p.m. on August 31st, 2019, at just 22 years of age, Antoine Hubert left us for a better place.
Having someone close to you, a fellow driver, competitor, and a friend as well, die in the same crash as you, It just makes you, I guess, realize life is short. At any moment, things can go wrong.
Rest in peace, man. It was a stark reminder of just how dangerous the sport can be. Hubert was part of the Renault Academy, and in his very first season in F2, had already showed incredible talent with 2 impressive wins. He was very popular in the paddock and a close friend of F1 drivers like Leclerc and Gasly. It was an incredibly tough weekend for everyone, and honestly, I don't even know how the drivers managed to find the strength to keep going after what just happened. And while on Sunday, all drivers paid a tribute to Hubert and his family, there was no choice but to race.
Welcome along to Spa-Francorchamps. Formula One is back after its summer break. We head into qualifying for round 13 of the 21 races in 2019, the 64th World Championship Belgium Grand Prix.
Leclerc, who had just grabbed his 3rd pole with Ferrari, a whole 7/10 quicker than Vettel in 2nd, couldn't stop thinking about Hubert, but somehow channeled his grief into pure focus and gave it his all.
And it's lights out, away we go. Great start for Albon. Sainz installed on the grid. Sebastian Vettel tucks in behind Charles Leclerc. Lewis Hamilton on the inside.
The Monegasque stayed in P1 the whole race and had to fend off the faster Hamilton in the final laps.
Traffic, the gap is now down to 1.7 seconds, and the longer these corners carry on, the more the Mercedes will be gaining on that Ferrari of Charles Leclerc.
Keeping the pace while taking care of his tyres to perfection. Yet, lap after lap, Hamilton was closing the gap.
Hamilton, now through the middle sector, is throwing down an epic challenge.
They all want Hamilton's crown, but he's not going to be easily beaten, is he? He never gives up.
Charles Leclerc in his first season at Ferrari has this lap to survive to get win number 1. Ferrari came here with the advantage on paper. Charles Leclerc can now see the checkered flag, and for the first time ever, Charles Leclerc wins a Formula One Grand Prix. Charles Leclerc wins the Belgian Grand Prix.
First victory in F1. This one is for Antoine. Feels good, but difficult to enjoy on a weekend like this.
He did it for his friend. He achieved it for himself.
Yeah, on one hand, I've got a dream since being a child that has been realized. On the other hand, it has been a very difficult weekend since yesterday. We have lost a friend, first of all, but it's very difficult in these situations. So I would like to dedicate my first win to him. We have grown up together. My first ever race, I've done it with Antoine when we were younger. There was Esteban, Pierre, and it's just a shame what happened yesterday. So I can't enjoy fully my first victory, but it will definitely be a memory I will keep forever.
But that wasn't all. The next week, Leclerc showed once again why he's known as Il Predestinato. Like he had some kind of divine inspiration, Leclerc was the fastest all weekend, once again.
Charles Leclerc has coped brilliantly. He won in Spa. He wins in Monza. Charles Leclerc is the winner of the 2019 Italian Grand Prix.
He achieved his second F1 win in a row and Ferrari's first victory at Monza since 2010, just a week after the heartbreaking loss of Hubert. And if Leclerc could barely hold back on his tears, the next driver simply couldn't handle the excitement. The 2012 season was a roller coaster of emotions and one of the most epic of all time. First off, it was one of the most legendary grids we've seen, with 6 world champions: Schumacher, Raikkonen, Alonso, Hamilton, Vettel and Button. And the competition between teams was incredibly tight. Just to give you an idea, there were 7 different winners in the first 7 races. And yes, one of them was the one and only Pastor Maldonado.
Pastor Maldonado wins in Spain. It's the first Williams victory since Brazil 2004.
It was a season you simply couldn't miss. Basically, Red Bull, McLaren and Alonso's Ferrari, yes, he was carrying that team by himself, were neck and neck in the first half. With just 9 points between leader Hamilton and Webber in 4th, they hit the 8th race at the Valencia Street circuit. It was almost guaranteed that one of the drivers would win his second race this weekend. And man, did he do it in style. On Saturday, Vettel and Hamilton were in 1st and 2nd, while Alonso was stuck in 11th, pretty much killing the Spaniards' chances, given how narrow the track was. But
It's lights out and away we go. It's a decent start for Sebastian Vettel and for Lewis Hamilton. Grosjean 3rd place for Lotus. Then Maldonado coming.
as Vettel pulled ahead, Hamilton's race started to get messy. But where is Alonso when all this is going on? Well, by lap 12, he's up to 7th place. And even though the track is incredibly tight, he keeps pulling off beautiful overtake after beautiful overtake and somehow makes his way up to 3rd place, right behind Grosjean and Vettel. After a safety car, he pulls this off to grab 2nd place.
Managed to keep his lead. Grosjean just in front of Alonso, who pulls out alongside. He's going to try and go around the outside, and they did touch. But Alonso has squeezed his way through into 2nd place. One for the brave, that one. And Alonso the bravest of them.
And just when things couldn't get any better for the Spaniard, this happens.
And Vettel's got a major problem. Fernando Alonso leads. Vettel could be out of this race. He is out of this race. Oh, Adrian Newey with his head in his hands. Spain with their hands in their air.
Everything went to perfection for Alonso, with a mix of luck and his incredible talent. He puts on a show to remember. He crosses the finish line in 1st in front of his home crowd, who simply can't believe what had just happened.
In front of his adoring Spanish fans, can now see the checkered flag and comes home to win the Grand Prix of Europe. It's not 8 different winners in 8 races. It's Fernando Alonso for a 2nd time.
He even shows up late to the podium because he was too busy celebrating with them and the marshals. But it was on the podium where the emotions really poured out. This win put him at the top of the championship. And the podium, well, with Raikkonen and Schumacher there, I'd say it's got to be one of the most iconic ever. Pretty much anything Schumi is part of becomes iconic. Flashback to the Italian GP in the year 2000. Just to give you some context, that season kicked off Schumacher and Ferrari's dominance in F1 for the next 5 years. Of course, Schumacher broke all kinds of records and ended up being the most successful driver ever with his 7 world titles. But it wasn't always that easy.
And Mika, and there's a for the back markers in the way. Can he do this? Yes, he's done it. A brilliant move there. Either side of Zonta, and Hakkinen brilliantly takes the lead of the Belgian Grand Prix.
Mika Hakkinen kept him on his toes right up until the end of that season, even leading the standings for quite a while. But at Monza, Schumacher nailed the perfect weekend. He took pole and won in front of the Tifosi, closing the gap to Hakkinen to just 2 points. A Ferrari win at home is always huge. Just look at these fans. But that wasn't all. After this incredible win, the drivers went to do the post-race interviews. And while everyone expected the 2-time world champion to be joyful about his win, no one expected what had happened next.
I'm not sure you're aware, but this is your 41st victory, which puts you equal second all time with Ayrton Senna. Do those records mean a lot to you?
Yes, it does mean a lot to me. Sorry.
Thanks, Michael.
The thrill of surpassing your idol. Many more achievements would follow, but few as special as this one. Senna wasn't just one of Schumacher's biggest idols. The German actually got to race against him in the 90s during his early years in F1. They had a lot of moments together, both on and off the track. There were so many feelings and memories going through Schumacher's head at that moment, and beating Senna was, as you can see, something he just simply couldn't put into words. And credits to Häkkinen for consoling him, while his brother Ralph didn't know where to hide. But if we're talking records, Hamilton's definitely the guy to ask. With Mercedes, Hamilton became the most successful driver ever, breaking a bunch of Schumacher's records and matching his titles. And of course, Hamilton wants to follow Schumacher's footsteps by moving to Ferrari next year. Very excited to see how that plays out, but for now he's stuck with Mercedes, after losing the championship to Verstappen in 2021, 22 and 23, the only years in his whole F1 career where he hasn't won a single race, and that's since his debut back in 2007. Insane. And to make things worse, in 2022 he was beaten by teammate Russell, and although Hamilton beat him in 2023, he was obviously nowhere near the Red Bulls, and with the team putting more focus on Russell for the future, it's no wonder he wants out.
You can be here for like 20 more years, 30 more years. I can't.
Well, who says that?
Well, as precious she is for me.
But I won't lie to you, Ferrari hasn't been any better, so is it really the right call?
The board of Lewis at Ferrari in a red overall, it won't suit him.
Anyway, 2024 is Hamilton's chance to say goodbye to the team he's been with for over 10 years. With the grid tighter than ever, he definitely didn't want to miss the chance to go out on top. And what better way to do it at home, right? At Silverstone, Mercedes kicked things off perfectly with a 1-2 in qualifying. It was Mercedes' first 1-2 since who knows when. On Sunday, things start well for both of them, and Hamilton gets ahead of Russell. But then...
I can see a big rain shower. I've put that on the radar. Expected the rain to come from that direction, so it might be coming across the circle now. Look at the spray coming off. Yeah, they're on slick still. So Norris calm behind.
Look how close Lando Norris is to Lewis Hamilton. He's done it. Lando Norris now takes the lead of the British Grand Prix.
And while Norris takes the lead, Piastri loses a bunch of time by sticking with the wrong tyres, letting Hamilton back up to second place. As the track dries out, Hamilton takes a chance by pitting early. And well, here's what goes down.
And Hamilton's just going out of the club corner and heading on down past the start-finish straight. He's going past us, and Lewis Hamilton, I think, is going to be in front as they come out. Yes, he's got. There's Hamilton. Hamilton comes out in front of Lando Norris, and the pit stop that Mercedes chose was perfect from that point of view. It has switched the two leaders around, and it's multiple British Grand Prix winner Lewis Hamilton, who is now back in front.
A perfect strategy and flawless driving.
He is about to head for victory as he comes into the final corners here at Silverstone. The crowds are going crazy. Lewis Hamilton wins the British Grand Prix. He takes his 9th win at Silverstone, his first win in nearly 1,000 days in Formula One. His 104th victory ever. Absolutely brilliant.
945 days. That's how long it had been since his last win. And finally, his redemption cake. Right at home, with the crowd going absolutely crazy.
Get in there, Lewis! You're the man! You're the man! Oh, mate, I have been waiting for this. Jeez.
Thank you so much, guys. It means a lot. It means a lot to get this one. And a big thank you to all the fans here. Love you guys.
Yes, mate.
We will prevail, we never give up, and what a sign-off for our joint trajectory here on the British Grand Prix. We couldn't wish for anything better.
He also set a record for the most wins at a single track. Plus, no one's ever won a race after their 300th start or 17 years after their first win. It was just pure history. After getting out of the car, he couldn't hold back the tears. And a lot of people didn't think he'd win another race, not even Hamilton himself.
Yeah, I can't stop crying. I think, it's been since 2021. I just, every day getting up, trying to fight, to train, to put my mind to the task and work as hard as I can with this amazing team. I mean, there's definitely been days between 2021 and here where I didn't feel like I was good enough or whether I was going to get back to where I am today. But the important thing is I had great people around me, continuing to support me, my team, every time I turn up, and see them putting in the effort that really encouraged me to do the same thing. And otherwise, my fans, when I see them around the world, they have been so supportive. So,
like him or not, he's one of the greatest to ever race, and the goosebumps from him pushing through for 3 years and finally winning another race, absolutely beautiful. And if Hamilton's win at Silverstone was a movie, the inspiration would definitely have come from this next moment. It's 1991, and we're in Brazil at Interlagos. Unlike Hamilton, Ayrton Senna came to his home race that season as a two-time world champ, but hadn't ever won a race here. People basically said he had a home curse, kinda like Leclerc's Monaco jinx for years. But that season, Senna was determined to finally break it. He grabbed pole and led most of the race, with Mansell right behind him until the Englishman got a puncture.
For second time in 2 races, Nigel Mansell retires in the Williams.
With a 30-second lead over Riccardo Patrese, it looked like he was definitely going to win. But then, with 10 laps to go and the rain about to start, he began having gearbox issues. As he tried to deal with the problems, with 7 laps to go, his gearbox suddenly breaks down and he could only drive in 6th gear. No more shifting. And while Patrese was closing in rapidly, Senna did everything he could to lose as little time as possible, taking every risk he could to stay in the lead. On the last lap, with just 4 seconds between him and Patrese, and the rain getting heavier and heavier, we were all on the edge of our seats. Was he actually gonna pull this off?
I look through and I see Senna waving. Look at him, he's saying stop the race, stop the race. But it's too late, Ayrton, you're on the last lap. You can lose this race.
The Brazilian didn't give up, and against all odds, crossed the finish line in first.
Yes, Ayrton Senna achieves his ambition to win the Brazilian Grand Prix, but another lap or 2 and I think he would not have done so. But ifs don't matter. Senna has won. Vencedor, winner. Ayrton Senna in Brazil. This is what he's been working for all his career, and he's now achieved it.
But right after finishing, this happened. Shoulder cramps and neck strains. He put in such insane efforts. He was completely exhausted. He could barely even lift the trophy. It was tough, but he finally broke the curse. Neither the crowd nor he could contain the emotion over what just happened.
I only returned to reality when I saw the finish line. Then I felt happy to be alive, to be in Interlagos, in my homeland, and with my happy compatriots. It wasn't the greatest victory of my life, but one where I gave everything I had. If this is the price I had to pay to win in Brazil, it was cheap, thank you.
And yes, that win thrilled everyone. Even the rest of the season wasn't all that exciting. But you know which season really had it all?
Fernando Alonso, Jenson Button, Lewis Hamilton, Mark Webber, Sebastian Vettel wins for the first time in 2010.
Red Bull, McLaren, and again Alonso's Ferrari were neck and neck all year. The result? Well, there were 6 different leaders during the season, and by the last race in Abu Dhabi, 4 drivers still had a shot at winning, something that had never happened before. Alonso and Webber were the 2 favourites, with Vettel having a good shot too, and Hamilton wasn't really in the contenders, but theoretically it was possible. In qualifying, Vettel took pole, with Hamilton 2nd, Alonso 3rd, and Webber 5th. Even though that would have been enough for Alonso to win, things changed rapidly during the race.
We wait for those lights. It's been the longest season, the closest season. We have 4 contenders. Who will be champion today? As we leave the grid at Abu Dhabi, Vettel moves forward. Alonso comes through. Button's got the jump. Alonso down into 4th. Hamilton goes close, but Vettel still leads. Down into the turn 5. We've got 2 Mercedes side by side, and they make contact. Michael Schumacher round. Will he? Oh! The big smash there. It's Lutz. He's gone straight into him as well. There surely will have to be the safety car, won't it? Michael Schumacher's race is over. Lutz here as well.
During that safety car, drivers like Petrov and Rosberg decided to pit. It was super early, but they put on hard tyres and hoped to make it through the end. And while Vettel was still in 1st, Hamilton 2nd, and Alonso 4th, Webber decided to pit on lap 12 because of grip issues. Ferrari had to decide, cover Webber's stop or wait longer to see how the soft tyres would hold up. And well, this is where the Ferrari strategy memes really started to take life. Alonso pitted a couple of laps after Webber. He came out ahead, but Ferrari didn't think about the drivers who had pitted earlier. Classic Ferrari. So he ended up stuck behind Petrov. And the worst part, the Ferrari was a whole lot slower than the Renault on the straights, which meant this.
You're doing your best, but really it's critical to pass it. I know you're doing your best. Use the best of your talent. We know how big it is. Use it.
Vettel, on the other hand, nailed it by pitting later and skipping all traffic. Honestly, it was like Red Bull threw Webber under the bus, and Alonso just walked right into the trap. The ending was straight out of a movie, with a finish no one had expected.
And now Sebastian Vettel wins in Abu Dhabi to be Drivers' Champion for 2010. It's a double for Red Bull. Don't count on it.
it just yet until everybody goes over the line. The two McLaren's line are Stern and Hamilton from Button. They're not jumping up and down yet. They know what happened in Brazil in 2008.
Let's see if they're going to make it. Let's see if they're going to make it. There's Alonso harrying Petrov, who's been there all the time. There's the checkered flag. Alonso going for it, and they've done it. They will celebrate. Du bist Weltmeister.
Sebastian Vettel, you are the world champion! The world champion! Well done, enjoy it! You are the man!
Oh, thank you, boys. Unbelievable. Thank you, I love you.
At just 23 years and 134 days, Vettel became the youngest world champion ever. And the wildest part, he never led that championship until the very last day. After years of proving he had what it took, he finally snagged his well-deserved title, while Webber and Alonso were left stunned by what just went down.
Sebastian, you've only led this World Championship once this season. That's today.
I'm a bit speechless, to be honest. I don't know what you're supposed to say in this moment. It has been an incredible, tough season for myself, for all of us, physically and mentally especially. And to come here, you know, we have always kept believing in us, in our team, in the car. So did I keep believing in myself. And yeah, today was a special day all around. This morning I got up and yeah, tried not to think about anything, tried to avoid contact to people too much. Just tried to do my own thing, and I knew that the only thing I can do is trying to win this race and doing my best. So as you say, we have only really led this championship once, and when it matters, so.
And that was just the beginning of his 4-year domination with Red Bull. Together with 2012, 2010 was definitely his toughest year, and the one that most people didn't think he'd be able to win. But that's Formula One. A lot of beautiful moments in this video, but F1 also has a much darker side to it. If you haven't seen this one already, you should do so now. And as always, thank you for watching.